Welcome to the Air Power Airwaves, the Air Power Manufacturing Solutions podcast series where we talk about manufacturing issues that impact you. Hey, it's Travis Steerwalt. Welcome to another edition of Air Power Airwaves. Today, I'm sitting here with two people, both of them familiar to Air Power Airwaves, and both of them very familiar with Air Power. Allan Mustard, Account Manager with now Binks.
Correct, yes.
Formerly Carlisle, formerly...
Several other things, but we're Binks now.
So
we're
you're
Binks
Account
again.
Manager with Binks. Where are you located? Where do you reside?
The Hampton Inn and the Hilton Garden Inn most of the time. But wherever I'm needed, wherever I can watch paint dry and support the industry I love so much.
Good deal. Yeah, I reside with IHG, the whole Holiday Inn family.
Okay.
All right. And to my left, somebody who is very familiar to this podcast and very familiar to that chair is Kyle Crawford.
What's
How
up,
you doing,
Travis?
Kyle? Kyle, sales and marketing leader with Air Power and kind of a jack of all trades.
I'm enjoying today. I've never been on a podcast with a superhero.
Ah,
Yeah, today, Captain Condiment. I'm
Welcome.
lucky to have the
Captain
pleasure to be
Condiment.
with you today.
yes.
That is right.
There are other names. I won't share them all.
If you've watched any of the previous podcasts on YouTube that star this guy right here, there was some pretty funny editing that took place. Thank you, Jai. Good stuff.
There will be more made today, I'm positive.
Yes. So, Kyle, sales and marketing leader,
Yes,
Air
sir.
Power.
Are you
And-
cutting the mustard? Is that what you just said you're going to do?
No,
No.
no. You're going to keep doing that
It's-
today,
You're
aren't
going to
you?
roll
Sorry.
all day long. All day.
Sorry.
Sorry. Oddly enough, so a friend of mine was a missionary in Estonia.
Very cool.
Married a girl from Estonia, was a pastor over there, and
Okay.
they lived there for a while. And then they had 3 kids, and they moved over back to the U.S. And so we were over at their house one night, and she has things regularly shipped from Estonia over here.
Sure.
And one of them is a mustard
Oh, yeah.
that it's in like a toothpaste tube.
Okay.
It's called Synep, and it hits your tongue, and it's just, I mean, it is
Awesome.
powerful, but it is fantastic. So I'll have to see if I can get you a.
I would like to have some
of
snap,
that.
please.
At one point, we had 2 or 3 tubes, but I took them down pretty quick.
That's a great idea. I'd like to have some.
Yep, awesome. All right. Random facts brought to you by Air Power Airwaves. All right, today for the real topic, we are going to talk about 2K systems and why do you need 2K systems? Why are they used? What's the purpose for a 2K system? And the variety that's available. So, Binks, you put this down in our notes. I just wanted to, they call that acronym?
Right?
Binks?
Yeah. Yeah. So recently we were owned by Carlisle, a big construction industry manufacturing group, and they have sold us to Lone Star Equities. So we're an independent company now that's being invested in and grown from its roots. So we're back to our roots, and that is Binks, that in the 1870s invented atomization. So we are recreating our culture, and that's based on an acronym that I love. So I put it in our notes. B for bold, I for innovative, N for nimble, K for knowledgeable, and S for sustainable. So all of those characteristics of how we do our business, how we work with each other, how we work with our customers are core for us.
Excellent.
Very cool.
It's just a great statement. It's a great way to keep it
When
going.
y'all are keeping the Binks name and the DeVilbiss name, and so what's the diverging markets there?
There are a number of brands under the parent brand of Binks. DeVilbiss is auto refinish. Binks is the bulk of our business that's industrial. So DeVilbiss is a sub-brand of Binks. Ransburg, BGK, Hosco Fittings, MS Powder, all of that is a part of the Binks brand now.
The industrial group.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. All right, I want to get into it. Let's talk about. We're going to get into why 2K systems and why they are needed. Let's talk about pre 2K systems. What are some of the challenges in manufacturing that lead up to why 2K systems are needed?
Methods of painting.
Yeah, when Henry Ford was building his first cars and having to paint the coaches, it took 2 to 3 weeks for those lacquers and varnishes to dry. So we actually approached him and with atomization applied a thinner coating of lacquers that was reduced and it flowed out smoother and it dried in 2 or 3 days rather than 2 or 3 weeks.
Were they applying the paint by hand, like roller
They
brushes?
They were brushing it and rolling it on, and it took a long time to apply and to cure, but the Industrial Revolution required coatings to come along with it and speed up that process. The tack time of processing each part, getting the coating cured so they could move to the next step, is a real deal for most manufacturers.
Yep.
Typically, that's the bottleneck is finish. So how can we speed that up?
Okay. And so moving into the actual... Well, let me ask you this. So in those processes, were they mixing components back then? Or was the paint a single component and then you threw a lacquer on top?
The chemistry had not developed to the point where it was 2-component chemistry yet. So most of them were 1 component.
Okay.
And then as the technology required, 2-component chemistry started to be used.
Well, yeah, if you said tack time today was 2 to 3 days for your paint to dry, like that wouldn't fly.
That would never fly.
Yep.
You know, so we wanna cure in what? Minutes?
Seconds would be great.
You know, seconds.
Yeah,
minutes.
UV chemistry cures in seconds, and some of these coatings that we're going to discuss in 2K chemistries cure in 3 minutes.
Okay. So let's fast forward. Paint and coatings have matured. We figure out that we can take 2 things, put them together at a certain ratio that allows for quicker curing and whatnot. So now we have another set of problems because we have things that can go wrong in that process. If I'm over there measuring this out, I'm trying to do it quick because I'm trying to keep up with production. What are some of the problems that we run into at that scenario?
And we would call that hot potting, which
Yes.
you still see a lot of people do hot potting today, right? You mix a little bit of A with a little bit of B, you stir it up or agitate it, and we go to spraying.
Yep.
So what are some challenges in hot potting?
The accuracy of the ratios of one material to another when you mix them is more critical in some coatings than others, but in some of them it can cause an accelerated reaction that damages the coating so much that it can't be applied. It can't even be sprayed. So
for the shop that they've sped up, they're trying to get this done really quickly, and he's just eyeballing it. You know, you just, some of these things you can't eyeball.
Really, you can't. And the ratio has to be fairly accurate. The chemists have tried to give some forgiveness there, but it still needs to be mixed. And if you don't mix it thoroughly, the components don't blend. In some cases, they stay separated, and they're hot and cold spots is kind of what I call it, where the coating is not mixed and does not cure, does not respond. Part of it is speed, yes. speed of cure, speed of the process, but another big part of it is performance. How protective and durable is that coating? How well does it stick to what it's applied to? Those kind of things are critical, and the coating will fail. If it's on a tractor, the paint flakes off. It doesn't stay on the part.
I would imagine like UV issues, UV issues or the flaking, things like that, or okay.
What about waste? So I get the performance aspect if I don't mix on ratio, but what if I mix too much or leave for lunch? Like, are there any waste constraints with hot potting?
Very, very large problem is the waste generated. You assume how much you need, and you make that batch, if you will. Okay. You're cooking that batch up for 50 people to eat, and then only 20 show up. Yep. So you've got 30 people's worth of paint left over. So that's
it's not like you could just put a lid on it and save it to the next.
You almost never can save it.
Very good.
No.
The chemical process is initiated when the components touch each other, so they will continue to cross-link and form a film, even if it's still in a bucket. Okay. So that's a real big problem for cost, but also a lot of chemists and paint companies, because they don't trust us, because we're not measuring really good, and we don't know the difference between a cc and an ounce. So we think we got it right, okay? It was 10 to something. I don't remember. But because of that, they make kits. So everything comes in a package, and you mix all of those, and it results in this kit. First off, it's very expensive to have a pre-made kit for you so you don't screw up. But then you're dedicated to that batch size. Right. Whether you're spraying one part or 10, that batch is made. Yep. So it's all going to waste if you don't use it. Yep. That's much harder. That's a big challenge. Very expensive.
So I want to run down some things that we talked about, and we can add things to it. But in other than paint costs, there's also things. You've got employees that. Like the physical time that it takes to go through the process of measuring, pouring out, getting things mixed for hot potting. That is time. The containers themselves, then if you're going to reuse a container, you've got cleaning time. You've also got that, in that situation, you've also got solvents and things that you need to actually clean that with. And I hadn't thought about this, but cost of a bad batch. If you're actually mixing it, you mess up, and you're not exactly sure how it messed up, but it's just not working right, it's out the door.
Yeah, or it's on the part, and then you're stripping the part if you possibly can, and recoating it, restoring it to reuse it.
In our service department, I don't know how many guns we get in where the pot life exceeded, and they had sprayed a few batches, and maybe they had to rework the part, so there's mixed material sitting in the gun. And then it exceeds pot life expectations, and so the gun just becomes a brick.
It just seizes up everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen those too, and even the pumps, the big delivery systems. You have the cost itself associated with all the waste that if you mix it improperly, and we wrote down pot life. I think we just covered that.
The personnel sometimes increases because they'll have one person mixing the batches for everybody. Okay. So now they're dedicated to a non-productive role. They're not making the company money. They're mixing paint for the other guys that are spraying. So you're at the mercy of how many batches, how many times, how many colors, how many sprayers that person has to manage. Yep. And it can vary in production. It'll vary up or down, and that guy's not a sprayer.
Yep.
So what's he going to do when he's not mixing?
When that guy holds all the knowledge for the paint ratios, so
he didn't show
up,
up,
sick, and can't make it to work that day. Then how do you run production?
Yeah. Yep. So it's a tough challenge and very costly.
So that's a setup for what we're now going to talk about. It's a solution to all that, and that is called a 2K system, and in this case, the RM2.
Yes.
And the Binks RM2. Now, So we were having a discussion prior to this podcast where we go through and we talk about the subject matter, and we try to come up with a nice plan to present it, right? No secret. We have to plan. So we were talking about that, and Kyle asked I believe it was you that asked a very good question.
I was curious.
Where does the K come from? Why is it a 2K and not a 2C? And I don't know where it came from. I've worked for an Austrian company before,
Okay.
and I got it pretty quick that the K is probably German for the German word component. And I actually looked that up, and it is.
Is that correct?
Component with a K. Ah. So I think that's where 2K comes from. But in English, it would be 2C. Two components coming together and being able, or multiple components, because you can actually do more than two.
You can do a 3K machine.
Yep.
You can add fill. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do to mix on demand.
So the RM2 is what we're going to focus on today, and the different variations of the RM2. We're going to go over those. But basically, all those problems we talked about, Binks put together a plan and said, you know what, we can come up with a system, and refer to them as proportioning system, to help get all of that right every time on demand with little to no waste. And the RM2 seems to be an animal.
It really has been a great solution for us.
Very good solution for this. So let's talk about the RM2. You guys want to talk about it?
What does RM stand for, Alan?
Ransburg Manual 2 Component. So RM2 stands for that. Ransburg was one of the inventors of that technology, as well as electrostatics. So that division of our Binks brand invented that technology and has been mixing the two components a long time, starting even in Europe, to your point, where urethanes were designed by chemists for a lot of automotive and aerospace applications. They needed a two-component mixing system because the pot life was so short. They could not spray it with any length of time available before it started to set up in the system.
Okay.
So super high level, then how does a two-component machine work?
Okay, so you have to measure the rate of material. Let's say if you're doing it at the time you're spraying, right? That's what we're doing here. You've got to measure the rate of material flow from component 1 to component 2. So when we're doing that with the RM2, the material that's the paint itself, so whatever color it is, whether it's clear coat or a pigmented resin, we call it, is flowing through a flow meter that has gears in many cases that turn when the paint flows through it. And that measures the gears. So it knows exactly how much fluid is flowing in the resin side. And then the computer thinks about it and says, okay, that's how fast. Now this is how fast I need to flow the other component, the hardener, to match that flow at a ratio of 1-to-1, 1 part resin to 1 part hardener, 3 parts resin to 1 part hardener, whatever it may be. That's how it dynamically measures and immediately reacts in milliseconds to the flow of resin A to hardener B.
Okay, so if I need more paint, this is going to speed up. If I need less paint, because it's only demixing on demand.
Yep, it's we call it dynamic, so it's immediately reacting to the flow requirement. You could add more spray guns, if you will, or increase the flow rate so more is coming out of the gun, but whatever rate they're getting on demand to the spray gun is matched by the hardener on the other side.
Okay, and then where does it mix?
The two components come together to a mix manifold, and the B part is, if you will, injected into the A part, the resin, and they mix in a tiny little chamber that goes through a double spiral called a mix element, and that splashes it. Not really splashes. Okay, there's no air there. It's not a bubble bath, Alan. So it splashes those streams into each other about 10,000 times in 6 inches.
Going through
length.
this
Wow.
mixing chamber.
Yeah.
So this is replacing the agitator.
It is really,
This is our agitator.
it is so much better than an agitator. An agitator just moves all of it around. This actually really collides the material into itself very rapidly.
One of the things, when you talked about hot potting, you talked about cold spots and hot spots.
Yeah, this is impossible to do. It's just impossible to do. And the element itself is flushed periodically throughout the process so that there's no buildup inside there, but they're also easily replaceable so that if the material is that hot, you may need to replace that at a different frequency.
Okay. Well, when we were talking about hot potting, there was a few issues. One was the mix-on ratio.
Yep.
Gone. Right, because we're dynamically mixing as we need paint.
Extremely accurately, we're measuring 8 times a second.
And so then the waste component, where you're talking about batches. So if I have to batch 5 gallons, but I only have 20 people to eat dinner, that's gone as well, right? Because I'm mixing as people come to the dinner table.
That's correct.
Okay, and then the hot and cold spots you said are gone due to this mixing chamber.
Splashing.
I didn't want to use the word
You didn't
splash.
want to say splashing.
I didn't want to say splashing.
I understand. It's the
There's
mustard
no
effect.
air and there's no mess. It's all concealed.
No splashing.
So then the last one that we kind of talked about with hot potting was like we mix all of this and then we don't spray it all and it gets stuck in the lines. And so I imagine there's got to be a distance from where this is mixed to the gun. So how do we combat that last problem of we didn't spray it all and the gun locks up? Is there a way that the RM unit can handle that?
Well, let me preface that by saying that you can have 2 guns so that you're spraying mixed material through one gun or another gun or both guns at the same time. That's a feature of the RM2. And per gun, it has a timer. As soon as they're loaded, they start a timer for each gun individually so that you know the pot life, and you set that in the software. You say, okay, my coating is going to start to set up in 120 minutes. So at 90 minutes, the RM2 turns the light on and says, hey, you're starting to get close. So either spray it or flush it. You have to pick. So it helps you time that, and you can touch the screen and it gives you an instant feedback on the screen of the time remaining before you need to spray or flush.
Now, I love going to lunch. So 120 minutes, I leave for lunch. This alarm goes off. Do I, as an operator, leave my gun somewhere so it'll do this for me?
There are what we call gun flush boxes that allow you to set the gun in a saddle made specific to that gun, and when you close the lid, it is completely controlled by the RM2 unit, and it pulls the trigger manually and flushes or color changes as needed for the safety feature as well. If you leave, as long as the gun's in there, it's going to flush automatically for you. Or whenever you do a change, you don't have to rely on the sprayer to hold the trigger. The gun flush box does it for you. That's a great asset.
Now, you were talking also that there is interface where you can remotely access the RM2, correct?
Right. We call it remote connectivity, and I can, in a scenario, I can look at a unit on my phone from an airplane in India.
Wow.
I don't care where the plane is.
So you're watching people spray in production, confirming on ratio.
I can look at how they're using the unit, what the pot life is, how many color changes they did today, how much material they used today, how many alarms have they had. This system has a set of alarms. If the material's not flowing right to the unit or through the unit, it will let you know, hey, we've got a problem. And you can tell the unit to either shut me off or give me an alert so I can react.
Hard or soft.
Yep.
Whichever one.
So that's kind of versatile, but at the same time, it helps you know. So if I'm remote and my customer or my partners are having trouble, I can look at the alarms on my phone, on my tablet, on my laptop, and I can say, you're getting a low resin flow. You need to turn the pump up. Let's turn the pump up a little bit, get the pressure up a little bit for it, and see if it's going to be happier.
So let's say you're the account manager for Binks, which you are, and you're
Congratulations.
you have
I sometimes am.
let's say Air Power has a customer that has the RM2 unit. Okay.
Yep.
And
Want me to name one? No.
The account manager reaches out to you and says, "We're having an issue. This is the issue." How is that permission granted for you to get on that RM2 unit and take a look?
When we set it up, they create a Wi-Fi portal for us,
Okay.
or an Ethernet portal. Either way, they can do that. Or if somebody is remote and wants to use a hotspot on their phone, we can do it that way. It's a free service. It doesn't cost anything to the customer to have this service set up. It's on every unit.
And that's
it's built into every unit.
It's you can enable or disable too. So for those customers that might be squirrely about somebody else on their system, just
Right.
disable it.
Yep.
But
Or they could enable it for that access and
Absolutely.
then disable it again.
have an engineer looking into your system, trying to troubleshoot it remotely.
Yep.
It's a huge thing.
Quite frequently, we'll go out as our tech team and do a service call on the customer, and we see something weird, and we want our engineers to take a look at it with us and see if there's something we're overlooking. So it helps us get another set of eyes on things, an expert set of eyes, to help us work through any issues or look for opportunities to help it.
You brought up
improve.
one more good topic though. So with hot potting, or the former way to spray two-component paint, right? There's still an EHS person in a plant that has to denote gallons sprayed for small and large quantity generation.
Yep.
So when you go to a plural component system like the RM, what advantage to like an EHS person, somebody that you wouldn't necessarily consider to benefit from this technology, how would they benefit from an RM?
The usage of every single material going through the system, whether it's solvent or water that you flush with, whether it's the coating or the hardener, is measured. Flow is measured by this unit, and it's downloaded to either a USB stick, or you can, using that remote connectivity, look at the screens and get a report. It can be generated over time, or by job, or by piece. You can create jobs. One of your customers creates a job for every piece they spray and tracks usage. So it's not only great for EHS guys to do their reporting, but also for production managers to understand cost by piece.
Okay.
Great tool. Really
Thank you.
automatic, easy to reset, easy to look at.
CSV file download to the USB.
Yes, sir.
Very cool.
All right, I'm going to go down through here, and we came up with a bunch of bullet points on the for the RM2 for features. I think we mentioned already that there is a touch screen, so it's all touch screen.
Yeah, I don't know that we touched on that enough. It's everybody out there has a cell phone.
Yep.
100%.
Do they still call them cell phones? Is that okay to use?
Yeah, cell phones, mobile phones.
iPhone, mobile phone. Everybody's got a mobile phone. They all have touch screens now. If you can use a touch screen phone, which my mother cannot, so not everybody, but if you can use a touch screen phone in 3 touches on the RM2, you're performing the operation. You're changing the color, or you're loading, or you're flushing, or you're looking at the screen. It's very, very simple, and it's password protected with different levels of access. So all you can do is color change and flush, or you can change ratios and recipes, or you can change system settings. So there are different layers of access to the software
access.
that are really, really handy for the users.
I get locked out of all of them. You don't want me pushing buttons.
It's safer that way. Hold mustard.
I do have one question. Like we've talked about how the everything is mixed and proportioned through this, and it goes straight to the guns and out. When they're applying it, can you use this RM2 to actually pre-mix for a pot?
You could, yes. Instead of a spray gun at the end of the fluid line, you would have a valve, a dispense valve, that could just on demand fill a container to whatever size you needed it, and you could use that material.
Which at least takes the risks out of
It's
not
well
being able to get
mixed.
it proportioned properly.
It's really well mixed.
Okay.
Another thing I did not bring up, sorry I'm touching you.
You're fine.
But another thing I did not bring up, in a lot of chemistries, that thorough mixing, the splash effect, that actually increases cure response of the chemistries by 15 to 20%. So it actually cures better. Cures
Why would that be?
sooner.
Better or faster?
Both.
Both.
So the materials are more thoroughly mixed. So on a smaller level, they cross-link rather than generally, and then it expands within the space, the three-dimensional space of the coating film. So it's much, much faster in a lot of cases, and in many, many cases, other additives are used. Like pot life extenders is a name for a thinner that kind of slows the coating down, and other reducers are used. But if you mix with a system like the RM2, the sprayability, because it's freshly mixed, is improved to the point where we don't need any of those additives. So again, we're not at the mercy of the person mixing it to how it sprays today.
All right.
Huge advantage. Big cost savings.
All right, the next one we had here, versatility for wide ranges of ratios, fluid pressures, flow rates, chemistries, and viscosities.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot.
Yes.
There's so much that it does. The design of each of the RM2 packages are configured for different chemistries. Whether they're in the wood coating industry, we use an acid cure chemistry that can affect steel. So a higher grade of stainless steel is used in those units to make sure we protect those components. Or you might spray at low pressure or medium pressure with HVLP technology or air assisted technology. So they're configured for that. Or they are urethanes or epoxies that have a wide range of ratios that could be up to, I've seen 60 to 1 ratio, and we are able to support those high ratios as well as a 1-to-1 ratio with the different units that we have available. So there's a lot of different versatility in the units, and they can be scalable. You can start with one chemistry and change chemistries later, and we can adapt the unit that you bought for those chemistries.
We did a podcast one time, Alan, and there was a segment like, can you lift it? And it was talking about guys lifting Hummers and tanks and all that cool stuff, caskets.
Cool.
On your equipment, the RM, can we spray it? Is there a chemical makeup that's like no-go, or have y'all encountered one yet?
Something that
If it can be atomized,
So that's our delineation. If we can atomize the material.
it can be mixed in the RM2 or the RF2, yes.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good one. I like that. 3,000 centipoise is where we try and draw the line there for thickness.
What is that, peanut butter? Like, what is that?
Honey,
Honey? Okay.
syrup, somewhere around there.
Mustard?
Mustard's thicker.
Mustard's thicker?
Mustard's a
Honey
slurry.
mustard.
Mustard's a slurry. Depends on your mustard, I'm thinking.
Okay. But that type of consistency, we're getting at the stage where atomization probably isn't going to work correctly, and so an RM unit is not necessarily the best choice.
Yep. And high flow rates are not really advised. If you're using 8 spray guns off the same unit, you're at risk. But if you're using 4 spray guns, no problem at all.
And you say per unit. You can have 8 in your plant.
You have a lot of them. Sure, we'd love to say a lot of them.
Units.
But the limit is around 3,000 cc's, so almost a gallon a minute is capable. This machine is capable of supplying that flow rate.
Okay,
that's a lot of spray guns.
Okay. I had one more question for you, and this one was off the cuff too. We just completed some market trend calls, and curious in the market, are y'all seeing more plural component machines now, and what's pushing that trend?
A lot more, for 2 reasons, I think. The chemistry and the performance of the coating is requiring it. The pot lives are shorter and shorter for a lot of these materials, and because this unit, in addition to mixing components, color changes automatically from one color to the next, the efficiency of our system, because it has that tiny little manifold, it doesn't generate a lot of waste, and it's real fast color change. That is really important now, because I mean, like 50 Shades of Gray, everybody's got so many colors now that they can't just spray the same color all day. It's very rare that we see that.
Okay.
Lots of color changes. The coating technology is requiring it.
When pot life being shorter is consistent with I want a quicker tack time.
Yeah.
And so if my pot life is shorter, then that means I might have more waste if I continue to hot pot.
Yes.
Okay. Why would somebody not invest in 2K? I know we normally flip the question to be a more positive question, but why do people not? I mean, it seems like a very simple solution to implement.
I would want to say that if they have less than 4 exhaust stacks in their building, they may not. That's one thing, because it would be a small operation,
okay.
Just 4 booths, or maybe. If their coating cost is very high, they should. They almost always should, because it'll justify in the efficiency of the mixed material versus the batch system. If you spend more than $50,000 a year on coatings, you should look at this. It definitely will generate some savings for you. And we have an ROI calculator that we can work you through those questions to more completely profile your application and provide you with a better solution. No is the right answer sometimes.
Okay.
No is the right answer.
And you can start with an entry-level system.
Yes.
And you can add on as you need to, or get it more advanced as you need to, right?
That's what I love about this thing. You could have one guy in a booth spraying by himself with the RM2, and then 6 months, a year down the road, you're connecting it to a robot. You can do that. It will do that.
I'm intrigued now. Between that and the ROI calculator, I'm intrigued.
It's super versatile.
Yeah.
I mean, our product management team was challenged to bring a solution as up to date with modern technology and production technology as possible, and they did it by leaps and bounds. The list is really short what this won't do.
Guys, this was awesome.
Yeah, enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much, Allan. Allan.
Yeah, that's correct.
I misspelled it the other day. I was like, but I spelled mustard correctly.
I've been in a lot of abusive relationships, and so it doesn't bother me really.
All right, so Air Power Airwaves. If you have any other needs, desires for videos, let us know. If you want to talk more about the RM2, we would love to talk to you about the RM2. Give us a call at 1-800-334-1001. You could visit us online at airpower-usa.com. If you want to see other videos with this guy in it, you go to airpowerairwaves.com or airpowerlive.com, correct? And I'm going to end this like I always do, saying manufacture it a great day.
Thank you for joining the Air Power Airwaves podcast. Air Power Airwaves is a production of Air Power Inc. and Air Power Live Studios and is hosted by Travis Steyerwalt. For more information, please visit airpowerairwaves.com. For more information on all of our products, brands, and manufacturing solutions, please visit airpower-usa.com. If you have any questions or need product support, please contact Air Power at 1-800-334-1001.